everyone, welcome to Shanti Advent's channel during this Christmas season. And if you're watching this for the first time, a very warm welcome to you. I hope you'll be blessed. And today especially we are talking about one thing that none of us can escape from in this world. That is fear. You might have the fear for your children, your jobs, your finances, your health, your spouse, your relationships, whatever that fear is. Some kind of a fear every person goes through in his or her life. And actually when we think about fear, it is a very natural human response, right? We all agree with that, which usually leads to very devastating consequences emotionally, physically, spiritually, and mentally also. So if fear is unchecked, it has some grave disasters for the heart and the soul. So it's always better to check our fears. But one thing I want to make very clear in the beginning itself, that when you have some kind of a fear, it doesn't mean that having fear is not a sin. I repeat, having fear is not a sin. And having fear doesn't mean that you don't have faith in the Lord. Fear not is one of the main messages of Christmas. Why I can say that is, first to start with the Christmas story. If you start reading the Christmas story, the first story you come across is the story of Zechariah and Elizabeth. Zechariah and Elizabeth, they prayed for a very, very long time, for decades, to have a child, but still they didn't have a child. And finally, angel appears to Zechariah and tells him that he is going to have a son, and he couldn't believe. And the angel also told him that, do not be afraid. Friends, maybe you're afraid today because you are praying for something for decades, for years or months, and your prayers are not answered. And you might be wondering, is God hearing my prayers, or is there something wrong with me that my prayers are not answered? But I want you to make sure that God is working behind the scenes. He is hearing your prayers. That's the reason God is telling you today, if you're waiting for an answer for your prayer, God is telling that, fear not, my child, fear not. God is going to answer you. And the second time you come across an angel telling fear not is to Mary. Unexpected message Mary has to hear all of a sudden in her life, and the angel Gabriel told Mary, fear not, Mary, I have a good news. Fear not, Mary. See, sometimes what happens is, if our life is going in one accord, all of a sudden you hear a message, the message completely makes you to take or U-turn. How do you feel? It's very fearful, because you have to step into an unknown world. You have to step into an unknown surroundings. That can cause a lot of fear. Many times we all face that when we step into an unknown areas in our lives. And remember this, don't get worried. The angel Gabriel in this Christmas season is telling you, whoever is fearing for the unknown areas in their lives, if you heard an unexpected message in your lives, the angel is telling you, fear not, my child, fear not. Because and Mary, once she heard that message, she got so much strength, because she believed in her God. Her God is her strength, and her faith is the one that helped her to be strong in the Lord. Friends, have that faith in the Lord. And Jesus is telling us throughout the scriptures that, my peace I give to you. Whatever you're facing, it is the angel is telling today, do not be afraid. And another time we hear about the same message from the angel, do not be afraid, is to Joseph. Joseph, all of a sudden, that's another unexpected, unknown future. He doesn't know the consequences, to take Mary as his wife. He doesn't know what to do, what the world will tell him. See, many times we always get so much worried what the world is telling about us, what the world is going to call about us. Remember, my friend, Jesus is telling you today, don't be worried. All you have to worry is, what is God saying about you? Don't worry what the people are saying about you. And that's the reason God is telling you today, the angel, through his angel, he's sending a message to all of us during this Christmas season, do not be afraid. The same message he sent to Joseph, and Joseph, he was ready to face, because he knows he was obedient to the Lord, and he was trusting in his faith and trusting in his God more than anything. And the final thing, not the final, but if you read the exact Christmas story, the last part where you hear angel appearing and telling, do not be afraid, is to the innocent, humble shepherds. The shepherds were very lonely in a very deserted place. At the night time, they were watching their flocks. During that time, angel came and told them, do not be afraid. Friends, today I want to tell you one thing. there might be days in your life, the dark days in your life, when you are very much scared of whatever your context is. There might be a lonely situations in your life where you're very much worried. And there might be situations that you're worried, you're scared, you're feared for your dear children. Because, whatever reasons, your their life is not as you're expecting or whatever. But Jesus is telling you today, through his angels, my friend, that do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Today I want to share with you one of my personal experiences that I had with my own grandmother. My grandmother, she was a medical doctor, and so she used to live in this huge building where she has her hospital as well as her residence in the same building. We used to go visit her very often especially during the summer vacation. We used to spend time with her. But during those days, this is during our teenage years, so during those days there used to be a lot of power cut in India, and she's from a small town there. And what used to happen is, all of a sudden, during the night, the power used to go off. And every one of us, we all used to be so fearful because of the darkness and being in that huge building. But you know what? My grandmother, physically, she's a very small person, very tiny, fragile, sweet woman, and we are all like giants before her. Her children, her grandchildren, we are all so big. But all of us used to be so fearful even to step into the next room. We used to call our grandmother, we used to call her Amma. Amma, can you come with us? I need some water. I need some this. So every child used to do that with my grandmother. Now, and she's a very patient lady. She always used to accompany us wherever we want to go within that big building. And, now today, when I look back and when I think that, how come she's such a fragile woman, and why is she has so much of courage, whereas all of us, has so much fear. Even as a big gang, we never used to be able to step into that next room because it's too dark. And why is that? And today I realize that her faith in the Lord is her strength, and her strength is her God. That is what helped her to overcome fear in her life. I've never seen any kind of fear in her eyes ever in my life, being such a tiny, fragile woman. So that tells me that, having faith in the Lord, having trust in the Lord, obeying God, will help us to walk step by step. I want to tell you one thing, my friend. Many times, you cannot, God gives us light only to see to see your path only to some extent. So you have to take that step, and then you get more light to see the next step. So you keep going step by step. There are so many reasons why God makes us do that. Go walk step by step, and if we can show our faith, trust, obedience to Him, the fear in us, God will help us to flee that fear out of our lives, and we can also courageously walk and we'll take this Christmas story very seriously, where angel is giving us this message: fear not, my child. To watch more videos, subscribe to this channel. Thank you.